Sam.
And today we're munching up It. So let's get right into it. This is the older It with Tim Curry as the clown, not the newer one. We will hopefully be reviewing the newer one later this week, if not early next week.
Exactly. So, okay, what was your impression?
Oh my gosh.
I forgot. How could I forget?
It's ridiculous. It really is. I mean, as a kid, I remember going to the movie store and seeing the cover, which is Tim Curry, like, kind of peeling away the side, and, you know, with the red It in the middle of it. And it had 2 VHS tapes, and I was like, ooh, 2 VHS tapes. You don't really see that often. So I was like, I really want to rent that. And my parents were like, no, we can't rent that, Later, I don't know, I wasn't that old. I was like maybe 10. My dad rented it, and we were watching it. And as a kid, I was a little scared, you know, kind of.
I think it was more gruesome than scary.
But I was never scared of, like, the adult portions. I think I was always more scared of the kid portions, because the kid portions, they...
More relatable to you?
More relatable to what kids' fears are and, like, what might scare a kid. Versus when the adults are there, it's like, balloons, oh no, ooh, I'm gonna pop, like the scariest thing that happens is probably Bev. But, you know what I mean?
True, that was pretty scary.
So, also, spoiler alert, if you haven't seen the movie, go see the movie. It's, I don't know, 30 years old now, whatever, you know?
Yeah, rent it, whatever, borrow it from a friend. I'm sure someone's got it.
Yeah.
So,
getting right into it, Tim Curry. How did you think he did?
Bless that man's heart. He does such a fabulous villain. Like, I would say at least 3/4 of his roles are like villains, right? Something like that. And so I feel kind of bad for him because he's kind of typecast like that, but he's so good at it.
If you haven't seen it, but you have seen Home Alone 2, Lost in New York, it's the exact same character. Tim Curry plays the butler in Home Alone.
But no, like that scary, like even in Rocky Horror Picture Show, he was freaky looking. Like, he has a face that's...
Oh yeah, definitely, honestly, he would be a great Joker, I feel like, almost. Just the facial, like, the way his mouth acts and stuff.
And his ridiculous laugh, and just, you're right, he's, like, not normal.
Yeah. And, like, the shape of his head, I always thought his head was so interesting because they have the hair coming around the sides, and he has literally like a light bulb shaped head. And it's so interesting, and honestly, I see how could you go wrong with putting Tim Curry as the clown for It and having this horror movie, and they do with the most ridiculous dialogue, especially from him. They float. They all float down here, Georgie. It's like, okay.
And constantly showing his pointy teeth.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, that's the thing that always gets me, and we'll talk more about this when we get to the characters, but he never attacks any of the kids. Every
main kids.
Every other kid, he murders immediately, or takes into his little cave or whatever.
It's like he's picked these kids to just mess with. Like, these are the ones that I'm not going to kill. I'm going to make them have PTSD and, you know, like, make them go crazy.
Well, and it may have something more to do with the book and just didn't translate well into film. I haven't read it, and I've always been meaning to. But it may just be that they didn't translate that well into the film, but they really did not translate that well into the film. Tim Curry, though, I think he does a great job.
For
Makeup
what he
looks
was
great.
given.
I love the part where he's in the drain, and he comes up at the beginning, like, with the Georgie character, the younger brother.
Who kind of started this whole thing. Yeah.
That's so menacing and freaky. And the way that he just kind of plays it off like he really does live down there, and he's just like a homeless clown, it's so freaky. And that's what makes, like, me feel like, as a kid, it was so scary, because I guess it's because it's an adult taking advantage of, like, these kids, you know, like, good meaning, you know what I mean? And that's what's so freaky about it, you know?
True. Too true.
But, on to the other characters.
Yes. Okay, so...
We're going to do, like, a comparison, old versus young.
Yes. Okay, so yes, we have, this, you know, our main characters. They started off young as the kids. That's where the whole thing starts. And then as adults, they come in again. The kids were fabulous.
Oh yeah, pretty much all of the kids do a great job.
And the adults.
And I have to give actually a really good kudos to the kid who plays Ben, the chubbier kid.
True.
He does a great job with that, like, sort of like, oh, I really like this girl, but then he introduces her to all the other kids, and then Bill, the main character, basically, she ends up liking...
Yeah, gets swept up with him.
Yeah, and he does such a great job of filling that little bit of romance, which, again, doesn't make any sense why there's all these romantic parts in the movie and all these random scenes where, you know, things just aren't scary. There's literally a scene where they're eating chicken and there's a montage of them all laughing and it's like, have a good time, because it's alright.
It was so out of character for the movie, even with all the cheesy Tim Curry jokes, you know.
Yeah.
You know, even with all of that, it still seemed out of character.
Do you have Prince Albert in a can?
I guess you better get him out.
So freaking ridiculous. But
anyway,
the kids, they did a great job.
Yeah,
I really feel that they were strong.
Bill, Bev did a fabulous job. Ben, all of them. I felt like they were all awesome.
Even Seth Green, I thought, did a pretty good job.
Seth Green was pretty funny, and to tell you the truth, that was probably the last time he had growth spurt.
Actually, they seriously, they didn't have to hire a new actor for the adult. They could have just put some old makeup on Seth Green, because he doesn't, I mean, he looks the same.
Well, he looks like a little
he doesn't look like the adult version that they gave him. But, you know, I mean, I like the kids. I think that they're really great. The kind of timid one, Eddie, he had some good, you know, moments. It does feel, though, like, because this film is not, like, linear, that they just sprinkled the moments of the kids in to, like, haunt the adults. Like, oh, now we're back to the adults, and you need to care about all these moments, because Bev is, like, in an abusive relationship, and, you know...
And it's only because her father was abusive to her. Conveniently, they use flashbacks to progress the story. Like, every single kid, every time.
Yeah, and
that got old.
And I like that they tried to do that where it kept the story moving forward, but it does feel almost so convenient that, like, oh, well, I also had a flashback too, and I saw a mummy in a house, and I saw a werewolf in the bottom of the...
for every single kid. For Bill, for Ben, Mike, the whole gambit. There's like 7 kids. And so we have a flashback for every single one of them. Okay, I'm cool now. But other than that, I thought the kids did fabulous.
Yeah.
The adults, who are, a lot of them are mainstream actors. Like
John Ritter, he's probably the biggest name on there, and he is ridiculous. Like, he just seems like he's phoning it in. But there's this part that's so ridiculous. Me and Sam had to stop for a second. He's like, he's bringing this girl into his apartment. And he's like, "Hey, I've got lots of money. I'm a movie star. You should check out all my stuff. I'll be in the other room talking for a moment." And then she's like, "Oh, look at this stuff." And there's literally a pair of pants and a shirt, like, pinned to the wall with a light behind it.
Yeah, like...
I'm like...
No, you don't have to be quiet. Is all of this yours? Come on in. Here, let me see what I can do with this. Whoops.
When was that a thing? When was pants and shirt with light behind them modern art?
Oh,
the 80s.
My personal favorite, though, was when he was upset after he got the phone call and she was trying to console him. He was like, no. He actually put up like his hand like, "I don't have time for you." And it's like, excuse me, who do you think you are?
That's probably the better reaction than most of the people gave to their loved ones. But
yeah, there was just so many awkward moments. It was awkward. Awkward.
I think, and then we have to hit on the spider too, the ending. So real quick. So the adults, they get together back into the town of Derry, and they're all like, okay, well, sure, are we actually going to kill the spider or not? One of the guys ends up getting attacked by the bad guy who went insane, which was totally ridiculous with the dog. The dog?
There's no words.
The Tim Curry in the moon?
Oh yeah, that was a
Moon Curry.
Curry Moon.
There's so many things of all these things, but like, so they go down there like, okay, we're adults now. We're gonna attack this thing.
Yeah,
what did you bring? What did you bring? Machine gun? No, didn't bring machine gun. Oh, did you bring a knife, a silver knife or something?
Oh, the only thing that I saved was the slingshot from years ago.
Why the heck would you bring a slingshot to this fight? You're fighting the devil practically, and you're sitting here bringing a slingshot. You can bring anything you want. You can literally go down to Walmart and buy a gun.
They found the silver, the earrings. Stupid. Anyway, go ahead.
Anyways, they go down into the sewers, and they see the most ridiculous, like, claymation puppet spider thing. And there's a couple portions of claymation in the show where Tim Curry comes out in and out of a drain, and it looks pretty rough. But the spider itself is just so stupid.
Oh, and it's
got these big cartoon eyes.
It was supposed to be the big surprise, the big reveal, and ooh.
I feel like we're harping on the show. It's
pretty bad.
It's pretty bad, but I think it was probably a miniseries. Was it a movie or was it a miniseries? Because it was longer than it should have been. It's two portions.
Yeah, it was like an hour and a half each, so it was at least 3 hours. So I don't know if it was miniseries. Anyway, too long! Too long! Just saying.
Yeah. And the spider was ridiculous. They end up killing the spider, pulling the heart out of it, which is like a baby. It looks kind of like a baby heart. I'm not sure exactly what it was. And they save the day. Quote unquote, save the day. There's probably monsters still out there. Anyways, what would you give it out? 1 out of 10.
Okay, because it's ridiculous, but a funny ridiculous, I'm going to give it a higher score. I'm going to give it a 6.
Yeah, I would say it was fun to watch. It's just like Stephen King's like Maximum Overdrive.
It's ridiculous.
That movie is so freaking stupid, but also so fun to watch. It's just a great guy movie, you know what I mean?
And that's what this was too.
Yeah, this is like one of those movies where it's just fun to sit down with your friends and just laugh at it and throw popcorn. And that's literally what we did the whole movie, and crack jokes and riff it. So I would give it probably like a 6, like you said, probably a 6.5 maybe. You know, it'd be nice. Mm-hmm. It was nothing bad about it. It was a decent movie.
And honestly, if they didn't have Tim Curry in it, it would get a much lower score. So good job, Tim Curry. You made it above a 5.
So real quick predictions of what we would like to see from the new one. I'd love to see the new one to be all kids, which seems like it is because I haven't seen any adults in the new versions. Mm-hmm. But they are going for a horror movie like aspect where he's like running through the water in the basement, and I'm like, ugh, that seems really stupid. Like almost like those, you know, Annabelle, you know, creation thing, you know, like those type of horror movies, and I'm just not into that as much.
And it's totally misleading, you know, with trailers. It could be really, really good, or it could be really, really bad.
So we're pretty excited about it. We'll see what it's like. I'm willing to give it a chance.
Yep. So like, subscribe, tell us what you think, comments, all that fun stuff.
Yeah, tell us what you think about the new one, how it's coming up. Tell us what your thoughts are of the old one. If you thought that we were off on something and you think there's something that we missed, let us know. And thanks.
Thanks for watching. Bye!